Welcome, viewers, back to the Preaching Humanist with David Oliverio. That is I. I'm going to continue on the same topic. I've been talking about New Age spiritualism and how I throw New Age spiritualism into the major lump of religion. It's all the same, based on subjective experiences. They have their beliefs, their opinions, and so forth, their propositions on subjective stuff, and how it can be very damaging to humanity and how we need to really come against this. So let's go ahead and talk about testing these New Age practices. I want to go over a few of the practices of New Age spiritualists and what they actually do. Now, I've known somewhat of this with my major Christian background of being a Christian evangelist years ago. Of course, I have a pretty good understanding of Christianity. But really, I was a little weak on New Age spiritualism until of late, because I run into people all the time that say, David, I'm not religious, I'm not a Christian, but I'm not an atheist like you. I could never do that. I believe in a higher power. I'm a spiritual being. I believe in something up there that gives me direction and meaning in life. So let's talk about this. Number one, here are some of the practices that a New Age spiritualist person would do. OBE, the acronym, out-of-body experiences, which is simply consciousness. Human awareness is allegedly detached from the physical body. You hear about this all the time, and how people say they come out of their body and they can view themselves. There's my body, here I am. Now, is there any evidence that this is anything outside the human mind? Now, let's use science. Guess what, people? Science does test this stuff, and it proves that it's nothing more than something inside the mind. Scientific studies show, by using the MRI, resonance imaging, that these experiences of out-of-body experiences are caused by electrical stimulation of a specific region of the brain. There's no evidence for anything outside the brain. I discussed this a few weeks ago about how one can adjust and manipulate the parietal lobe, one of the four lobes of the brain, the human brain. The part of the brain that manufactures our balance, proprioception, experiences, and so forth, and senses. People, through meditation, can come into this feeling of oneness with the universe or a God, or the lack of personal experiences. We have discussed this before, and how these experiences are nothing more than the human mind in the brain, nothing outside the mind. Number two, another thing I run into, and I discuss this with people, ESP, which is your extrasensory perception. That is simply one person's mind communicating with another mind. Now, I used to do this years and years ago when my children, over 20, 30 years ago, were small kids. I would say, pick a number between 1 and 10, and I'll figure it out. We do this, and we concentrate, and then you'd say, 3. And they'd go, close, number 4. It was close. So this is communicating with other people's minds. Go to the movie out recently. Christine and I went to go see Star Wars recently. And wow, what a movie based on lots and lots of New Age spiritualism. A lot of ESP go in there. Something else I want to discuss is psychokinesis, otherwise known as telekinesis. This is simply mind over matter, where thoughts are capable, human thoughts, capable of moving physical objects. I've heard this so many times. In fact, I've got a couple New Age spiritualist clients. Wonderful people, but they really believe this stuff. A particular woman recently told me that her husband can move air with his mind. Telekinesis, psychokinesis. She said that through his mind, he can actually move air. So, of course, my response was, hey, I can move air too. Here's my hand. This is called heavy mass. Do you feel that against your face? Heavy mass pushing light air molecules. Nitrogen, helium, argon, carbon, and so forth, and oxygen air molecules. So this is a belief system that people believe they can really do with the power of their mind. Is there any evidence outside the human mind that anybody could do this? Now, I have gone on record saying this to Christians and even to New Age spiritualists. Can any of you who believe in this supernatural stuff, religions, New Age, spiritualism, can any of you give me a demonstration of something you believe to be true? Your propositions may be true, but you got to prove it. You've got to give me some empirical evidence. So I told her, could she have her husband demonstrate moving air on video, even with my iPhone right here? I will be glad to take a video of this, of her husband moving air. Maybe have some feathers up there or something. And I'd say you would be the first person on planet Earth to actually give some real life, scientific, verifiable evidence of something supernatural. Of course, she said no, they wouldn't take me up on the offer. Let's move along to channeling, something else they practice. Channeling is a person's body that has been taken over by a spirit. Ooh, gets a little spooky here. For the purpose of communicating and imparting wisdom. So channelers are actually known as psychic mediums. Now you can look in any newspaper. You can look here in Austin, we have a lot of this. They're fortune tellers, palm readers, and so forth. So these are mediums that they believe are taken over by a friendly spirit or a spirit guide. Now, some of you fellow older folks out there that are baby boomers may remember the cartoon Casper the Friendly Ghost. So it's kind of like Casper the Friendly Ghost, a friendly spirit taking over your body, giving you direction and so forth. So a spirit guide or a psychic medium believes that they can communicate with these angels and spirits for knowledge, help, and guidance. Now, some people have asked me, David, why do you speak against this spiritualism or New Ageism? Well, here's one reason right here. I, for myself and many others, I personally do not want a government official or a leader of this country or anywhere to receive guidance, to receive knowledge, to receive information from a spirit guide, a spiritualist, or a psychic medium. That's dangerous to me. I would prefer people that have clear, rational, educated, intelligent minds, unpolluted and infected by supernaturalism and spiritualism. All religions and even New Age spiritualism. I would rather have people using the enlightened human mind. Now, I know it's not perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better than dependent upon supernaturalism and spiritualism. So let me continue with a couple other practices of New Age spiritualism. Here's one, kind of a little spooky here. Necromancy. Necromancy is communication with the dead in order to predict the future. And I forgot to get my Bible verse because if I recall, Saul, the first king of Israel, allegedly communicated with dead spirits. So New Age spiritualism, several people, and yes, my clients included, have told me they believe they can communicate with dead spirits. Also, I close with this. I've done a little research on crystals, just like the woman that I had a date with who sold crystals. Crystals are stones, of course, that have been taken out of the center of the earth from the geologic column that have been there for thousands or millions of years and have received energy. And this energy, when placed upon a human being, will remove negative energy from a person and give you positive energy. There's a lot of talk about crystals. So again, is there any evidence for any of this stuff? No. And I would be glad for anyone who believes in spiritualism and New Age to demonstrate this to me. I would put it on video, and I would like to see you do this for me. I would be glad for anybody to take me up on this offer. So, is there any evidence that any of this is outside the brain? No, it's all brain activity, neural activity of the mind until you can demonstrate it and prove it. So, all right, thanks for watching the Preaching Humanist, where no God is required to have a life of love, joy, meaning, and purpose in life. And the good life is guided by reason, motivated by love. Have a wonderful day.